Hello viewers, welcome back again to God from Umba Academy. So today let's answer this question from Saprophytic nutrition. So this question is usually asked in biology, either GCE or school certificate. So this question specifically came in internal 2019. Okay, so this is biology paper 2. All right, so the question is saying Figure 2.1 shows part of a rhizopus. So we've been given this rhizopus here, and the questions now are saying, so when you look at the figure here, we have structure C, this thing on top, then we have D and E. So the first question is saying, identify the parts labeled C and D. What is C? Then what is what? What is D? All right. So this is the rhizopus. Like I said, this is saprophytic nutrition. So just a quick recap on this topic. When they are talking of saprophytic nutrition, you need to understand that basically saprophytic nutrition is the type of nutrition where an organism called a saprophyte, okay, feeds on dead and decaying organic matter, which is called the substrate. Yeah, so that is basically the definition. You have this organism which is called the saprophyte, feeding on dead and decaying matter. So this is what is happening here. And a very practical example is when you leave food. I think, yeah, you should consider this. When you leave food at home, maybe for 1 or 2 days, either bread or even shima, you will discover that there will be something that will be developed on the surface of the food. Yellowish green things that are strange, especially with bread. So those things that develops are the ones that we call the what? The saprophytes. This is the same thing. Now, in this case, it is just zoomed, okay? When you get the microscope and zoom that same stuff on the what? On bread or on shima, this is what we call the saprophyte. So that's the best example. So here, identify the parts labeled C and D. So C on the rhizopus. So this is the perfect example of the saprophyte, the rhizopus. This one C is what? Is the sporangium. That's what we call it. Then our D, this is the sporangiophore. Okay, so this is the sporangium, the head. Then this stem that holds the head is what we call the sporangiophore, and we have the rhizoids. So here for A1, you will say C is what? Is sporangium. Sporangium. Then D is the sporangiophore. Sporangiophore. So this is the first question, and these are the answers. Then state the function of the part labeled E, the rhizoid. So E, what is the function? Well, the main function of E is just, if you just take a look there, E is looking like the roots, right? So the main function of E is to anchor the fungus to a substrate and also to absorb nutrients. So that is the function. It anchors the what? This entire thing into the what? The substrate. If it's nshima, it will anchor the rhizopus into nshima. If it's bread, it will anchor the rhizopus into bread. And also to absorb nutrients. So that's the function. So for A2, you say to anchor the rhizopus. So to anchor the rhizopus. So the rhizopus This is Z, the rhizopus to the substrate. Yeah, or to absorb nutrients. So here they just wanted one, so n of these. Then we got the next. Briefly explain how the organism obtains its food. So this is saprophytic nutrition, like I said, and this question under this topic is always asked. One of the questions that carry many marks is this one. See, it's the one carrying 3 marks here. So the procedure is same. Firstly, you explain this is B. How does it obtain food? The first thing, it obtains food through what? Saprophytic nutrition. That is very important. So you explain to say it obtains food through what? Saprophytic nutrition. Then now you explain how it happens. So the first thing, it secretes or releases digestive enzymes. So it will release digestive enzymes into the what? Onto the substrate. So if it is in shima, it will release the enzymes onto the surface of shima. These enzymes are digestive enzymes, actually extracellular enzymes. Extracellular enzymes are those that work outside. Okay, so those are the enzymes it will release so that they break down and decompose and digest the food. Then it absorbs the what? The end products. So that is the thing. So this is saprophytic nutrition. That's the first point. Now how? Then you tell them to say it does what? It releases, or the biological term is secretes. So you say it secretes digestive enzymes onto the substrate. That's another point, okay, which is that same dead and decomposing matter. Then the enzymes now break down the substrate. So you say these extracellular enzymes breaks down, or the biological term is digests the substrate. It digests the substrate. Yeah. So the enzymes will now do what? Will digest the substrate. So after digesting the substrate, this is what now you say through external, which is extracellular digestion. Extracellular digestion. Then what happens now? What will happen, because digestion now is over, this thing will absorb now the end products of digestion. So you say then it absorbs the soluble end products through its hyphae. So the hyphae is the body. Yeah, this entire body, this entire thing. So it will now do what? Absorb after digesting. So that this is basically what you need to explain on how it obtains food. This is very important. Sometimes they give it more than 3 marks, up to 4 marks. So you need to master this question. Then we go to the next, which says Rhizopus also produce zygospores. Give one difference between a spore and a zygospore, and it is carrying 1 mark. So the main difference is that a zygospore is a single spore, while a spore is a single spore, or it is a single cell. Yeah, that's the best term. While a zygospore is made up of 2 similar cells. I hope you get the difference. So here you explain, this is C. You explain to say a spore is a single cell, while a zygospore is made up of 2 similar cells. I hope you get the difference. The other difference is that spores are produced by asexual reproduction, whereas the zygospores are produced by what? By sexual reproduction. So yeah, and actually here, yeah, just like this. Then the next question: name 2 important roles played by fungi in nature. So fungi, what are the 2 important roles that they play? So of course there are so many. This is our D. The first one, they are used in the recycling of nutrients. So to recycle nutrients, because this is an example. Okay, this is an example. So you understand that these they do what? They recycle nutrients. Like when they decompose these substances will then be taken up. For example, nutrients like nitrogen and oxygen. What happens? You understand that we get oxygen from what? From plants. So when these fungi decompose dead and decaying matter, they decompose them, and the plants now feed on those products. And after they feed on those products that are decaying or that are decomposed by this, the plants now produce what? Produce oxygen. Okay, so it enables plants to undergo photosynthesis and produce oxygen, and in that way it does what? It produces, it recycles. They recycle nutrients. Then the other thing, apart from recycling of nutrients, you explain to say they act as decomposers. Actually, that is also another important role. Act as decomposers. Instead of things accumulating, food, when you keep on people keep on throwing food, but instead of food accumulating, these things, they come in and decompose food so that there is no accumulation, which is very important. Then we also have, they only needed to, but others, some saprophytes or some fungi such as yeast. Yeast is also an example of a fungi. Those ones are used in brewing and baking. Then some fungi such as mushroom are used as foods. Okay. Then some saprophytes, so that is number 5 now, such as penicillium, are used to manufacture the medicine penicillin. Okay, so there are so many, and this is it. Hope you've gotten the explanation.